I gotta do my cardio. Hi. Mancini. What up, bro? I know I'm super late today. Woo. Super duper late. Mass Peanut, what's up? Good morning. Super late. I'm sorry. What up, what up, what up? I will stay on, though, for a while. If the questions are coming in, I'm going to stay on for a while today. I got nothing else to do now until much later. Had a lot going on this morning. Hope all's well with you too, Mancini. Thank you, thank you. What is going on? It is the eve of Thanksgiving. And do you know that this is like the biggest party night of the year? Like even bigger than New Year's, statistically, I guess, as far as like bar sales and whatnot. People go out and they get lit on Thanksgiving Eve. Pretty funny. Jack is here, he's hanging out. Hi, Jackie. So I'm very late today. We'll see how this affects the flow of everything, who comes on, who doesn't. You know, I always in the beginning varied the time of these. This time, guys, 9 a.m. I'm obviously very late today. Part of the reason why I did it was because it's a good spot where I think most people on the East Coast who are working have either started work or about to start work, and you can get the West Coast early morning people, right? 6 a.m. is not too early, so earlier than that, you kind of start to cut out people in different coasts, and then later than that, obviously, just becomes most people are at work for the most part. So that was why I always did it like that. Works out good for me too because I work out early, gives me time to come home, feed the dogs, walk the dogs, and whatnot. Prepare myself. Good morning, guys. Good morning, Mark Dog. So I had a lot of phone calls to make this morning, work-related stuff, because this is a condensed week, holiday week. It's Black Friday week. I love Black Friday. I love Black Friday because it always just gave me an excuse to dress up and act silly. So I've been throwing up those throwback videos. I hope you guys are enjoying those throwback videos. Anybody that's never seen them, I'm going to post some older ones too. I got a lot of good ones over the years. We've been doing this for years. We've been doing it for years. Mancini says he hates the daylight savings hour. Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Mancini. Nathan, what's going on the West Coast, brother? Monks, what's going on? By the way, did you guys get notifications that I came on today? I'm curious. Some people are getting them and some people are not. Everyone goes crazy. I know it. I might do a little Black Friday shopping this year, guys. I'm not sure. Monk says, dude, I've been working out abs for 11 months. What's happening? And running. So Monks, give me some more information. Tell us about your starting point, what you looked like, what your body fat was, your body weight. Give us more information so I can help you narrow this information down into something that works out good. Mass Peanut says, I've been watching RP strength videos recently. Have you heard of tried Myo Rep Match? It's really good. I haven't. Can you explain it a little bit more to me, Mass Peanut? quadraphonic, toppling what exactly is your fitness business now, personal training only. So I actually have no fitness business now, actually. I'm answering these questions for free every day, which I'm happy to do like I always have been, but I'm actually working in automobiles, really, but that's a very interesting spot for me. Really more on the marketing side of things and assisting my boss. I will be back in this space soon, though, guys. Nathan says most of the people on the West are still hugging their anime-shaped pillows right now. You're right. Or they're waking up and they're having their morning hookah. So Monk said, I started at 30%, 200. Now I'm 13, 175. Wow, so you nearly cut your body fat in half. That is fantastic. So Monks, I'm gonna give you some information that you can utilize, I think, very well, especially being 14. So 14, I was already working out for 2 years at this point, and I didn't have visible abs yet either. Now, sometimes you see guys with visible abs super young, 11, 12, whatever. Sometimes they're guys that are genetically very thin. Ab development is a combination of two things: low body fat and actual muscle, right? The muscle that is built. So sometimes people get very focused on losing weight. Like, I'm gonna keep losing weight and I'm gonna get ripped up and have a six-pack, right? But genetically, some people don't have as much muscle in their core as others. So what happens is, as the body fat comes down, the abs aren't really popping out as much yet. Now, on top of that, everybody holds body fat in different places. Some people hold all their weight in the midsection. Me, I hold a lot in my butt, like a damn girl. So here's what you have to focus on. Number one, making sure you're eating enough protein to build the muscle. Now, just because you're 12 or 13 or 14 does not mean that you aren't going to follow the same principles as somebody that's 30 or 40 as far as eating enough protein to grow and build the muscle. Now, metabolism is much different when you're young, and you will respond to things more efficiently when you're young. So as far as the way you eat, you know, a lot of young people only eat 3 times a day. You want to make sure you're eating 5 times a day, and I would say make sure you're getting at least 30 grams of protein for your age at those meals. Don't worry about all the supplements and all that stuff. That stuff will be there for later. You know, if you want to, if you're really serious about it, you can take some creatine monohydrate. Totally fine for high school. I took it when I was in 8th grade. It's been around forever. But really, the most important thing is focusing on eating the right way with the other stuff that you're doing. Now, it's very important building muscle. You also want to train your abs like another body part. So some people tell me, you know, when I train my abs, I just do, 100 sit-ups or this or that. But like, when you go to the gym, you don't do 100 bench presses. You break these things down into sets and reps. So what I did was I would pick 3 different exercises. When I was young, this is the way I trained my core. I actually had really good abs when I was like, 18, 19. It took me a while to get them there, though, because I had genetically, and I still do, small abs. So I was really, really lean, but not as much popping out. So what I did was I picked 3 exercises that I liked a lot. And I think when you break down the way you do your abs, you want to break them down into sections, right? The bottom, the top, and the whole shebang, right? So what I used to do was I would do a lying leg raise, where I would either be on a decline or even flat on a bench, And I'd be lifting my legs all the way up and extending so I could concentrate the bottom of my stomach with a reverse motion, that reverse curvature of the spine. That's how you contract from the bottom. My second exercise was I would go on a ball, a Bosu ball, and I would stretch all the way back as far as I could so I could feel the elongation of my core through the top, and then exhale and contract all the way down so I could focus through the top. And then my third exercise, I would do a weighted exercise. So I would either do a kneeling rope crunch, or I would sit in the old Roman chair with a 10-pound plate or whatever and do my crunches like that. But here's the thing, I would giant set it. So I'd do 1, 2, 3, all those exercises in a row, then rest for a couple minutes, and then repeat them. So I got very good results like that. And you want to build those muscles just like you're going to build your biceps, the same methodology. So trust me, you're doing the right thing. If your body fat was that high, you're already down to 13, it's probably just got to come down a few more percentage. But I'm telling you, you build that muscle up and it's going to pop out more. I really think that the common mistake that people make is training their abs from a more aerobic type of style versus the anaerobic like we do when we're building any other muscle. Now, that being said, the core can handle a lot of stimuli. I just want girls to stop leaving me for unfit kids. Well, let me tell you, monks, I went through it when I was young too. Where do you live, monk? Where are you from? When I was young, I was fat. I started out as a fat kid. And I'll tell you, a lot of kids picked on me, but I was real slick with my words. So I would cut people up with my words, but it would hurt my feelings when I would go home, and the girls and the kids laughing at me. So once I got in shape, once I got in really good shape, monks, all those girls were interested in me. But I did not give them the time of day, because you don't want to be with anybody that's going to treat you any different just because of the way you look. That being said, being in shape typically is going to attract a lot more girls than not being in shape. But remember that. Brock Lesnar, a lot of the guys in prison called me Brock Lesnar. Let's see here. What about Jay Cutler? I'm sorry I missed that. Questions, guys, bring them in. Monks, thank you for the question. Good question, young man. Gore is here. Broke your back at 10. Oh my, how did you do that? Where's Melanie at? Oh, there she is. Good morning, Melanie. Whoop. What else we got here? You look like a buff. Am I natty? No. I was for 2 years, though. Whew, those were a rough 2 years. PJ, how come the Icarian equipment from the late 80s is still better than today's equipment? I think that all of the equipment from the old days is better than the new stuff. Now, that being said, I have not tried. Have you tried any of this new tech equipment, or that fancy Italian brand? What is it, Panada? I haven't tried any of that stuff. I have not. However, I've tried. Listen, some of the have you ever used the Flex equipment from the 80s? Damn, that was good stuff. 80s and 90s. The Flex equipment was great. I personally have all of Hammer Strength, old Hammer Strength, in my gym. I love Hammer Strength. But yeah, Icarian made great equipment. Most of the new stuff that you see now, you're right, they're not designed ergonomically correct. They don't feel right. If I had to choose one dessert for Thanksgiving, what would it be? Well, I'm probably going to eat some sort of pumpkin pie. I do like pumpkin. I do like pumpkin. It's probably going to be pumpkin pie. Now, that being said, if it was just dessert, period, give me some carrot cake or some cheesecake. Whew. Nathan says my nickname when I was younger was Chubbs. And I feel like to this day it's the reason why I still kind of, hey man, I know all about it, man. My nickname, my family called me Choochie, Chooch. which Italian, a chooch is like a big idiot, like a big doofus. I was a big chooch. Everybody called me chooch. But you know, I'll tell you, once you do a bodybuilding show, you're gonna feel fat for the rest of your life anyway. I'll tell you that. What else we got going on here? Yeah, that's right. Don't let people tear you down. Listen, monks, I'm telling you, you're in a good spot because you're young and you're starting young. So if you stay consistent with it, I'm telling you, by the time you're 18, 19, you're going to be feeling and looking amazing. And then you carry that into your adult life and you'll continue to progress. And it'll actually be easier in your adult life, because as we get older and we start to do this stuff, it gets a little bit harder and harder. So you're gonna have a leg up on everybody else. Badabuco, I know, man, I love all that old equipment. The old Nautilus equipment is awesome. Some of it is a little wonky, but I love all that. Mancini, you're a true Italian. You probably like those little the little red and green cookies and the cannolis. Nathan, I've always been fortunate enough to be in a position with gyms where I didn't have to miss my workout on Thanksgiving. All the way back to in my teens, man. When I was in high school, I worked out at this gym prime time, and the owner would let me go in on Thanksgiving. Shout out to Pat and Lauren Toth, wherever they are out there in the world. Then a little older than that, at the Powerhouse in Brookfield, he would open up from about 9 till lunch. And, you know, to this day, I've never had to miss my Thanksgiving workout. So I'll be there tomorrow. I might sleep in a little later, you know, I might sleep in to 6:30, 7 o'clock, but I'll be there hitting it hard. It makes me feel good to get that Thanksgiving Day workout in. I don't mind eating as much and relaxing after that. It's a good day to relax and grow. Mancini, I love hammer strength. Al says, it's shoulder day for me. What's your shoulder routine looking like these days? So guys, I've really changed around what I've been doing quite a bit based around a couple of exercise variations that I've wanted to focus on. So here's what I do. I've really abandoned the traditional style of lateral movements. And so what I'm doing now is I'm starting, there's a video that I did. Look for the video that I did with Kristen Graham on shoulder training. I did it very recently. I'd really like you guys to check this out. So there's two variations of laterals that I focus on in the beginning. I do 5 sets for each one. They're very, very different. There's one where basically if you flex your lats, right, where your arms are out here, this is that starting range of motion. Your elbows are all the way out and you're coming out to the side. You're using your posterior delt to pull out to the side. These exercises are tricky and odd. So you got to start low and really focus on them. The second one that I do, again, from that same plane of motion, out in the front, I'm here basically, right? So my shoulder is rotated into this position, and the starting point is basically right where my elbow meets my lat, up, palm up, neutral like this. These are very, very hard. I can't really do more than 20 pounds like that. They burn and they're very, very tricky. Then from there, I go to the Smith machine. Now you could do this with a free weight, but it's very difficult. And I'm on a high incline, so I'm only back about this, but I'm pressing, guys, so you can see, I'm pressing from here. So if I hop off this for a second, I'm pressing, basically what you want to do, you're activating this front delt. It's more of like an arc, and it really overloads the front delt. And you don't come up to a full lockout because you want to avoid getting all that tricep involved, and you're focusing on keeping your elbow straight the entire time. Now, last week, I actually switched off that and I went on to, I have a selectorized shoulder press machine that has the handle here also. So I could set the seat really high so that I'm pressing from here. And I could focus on one arm at a time. I wanted to really individualize focusing on one arm at a time. So you're here, up, right? So those are my 3 main focuses. And I do 5 sets for each one. But at the end, what I've been doing is throwing in some sort of superset with the stuff that I have been doing for years. So last week I supersetted the reverse pec deck with the machine lateral raise, back and forth, 4 times through, just cranking out the reps in strict form. Now for years, my prime mover exercise was the seated dumbbell press. Now the thing with the seated dumbbell press, as much as I love them, look at how much different your range of motion is, right? So you're here, right? You're worrying about external rotation, which is when you hurt yourself. But you're here and your press is to here, right? And if you lock out, we're all tricep now. But if I'm pressing here, I gotta press all the way there. That's a lot of load on the anterior delt, which is what I want. Let's see. PJ, my old school 80s equipment and rat and token blasting still. My man, I have a little playlist that I've put together. I add stuff to it from time to time. I got Slipknot, Pantera, Machine Head, Trivium, got some random Atreyu on there, Rage Against the Machine, Korn. Monk says, my dad owns Community Beer Company. If y'all in Dallas, listen, if I make my way out that way, once I'm allowed to travel again, we'll get out there, right? Oh, the Soyatel, of course. Of course. Let's see. Mancini Fitness. Fitness strength is good too for cardio equipment. Listen, I've had this Life Fitness treadmill. I'm gonna knock on wood here. I've had this Life Fitness treadmill for 10 years, guys. This is commercial grade. Back when I was in my mother effing baller status and I didn't care about money, I said I want to buy a commercial grade treadmill, drop 5 bands or whatever the hell it was at the time, and I want it to last a long time. I've got it serviced a couple times, but it's still going strong. I love it. I love it. If you guys know anybody that's interested in buying an ARC trainer or a Summit trainer cheap, listen, I have them just sitting in a storage spot. I want to unload these things. Now, you're going to need somebody with a truck or a flatbed bed to come get them. Did you ever want to do a Rocky IV and train in isolation in a log cabin with snow all around? Yes, I kind of, you know what's funny about Ibuko is when I was in prison, that's basically the mindset that I was in because like in the winter time, even though it doesn't get, you know, as cold as it does in the Northeast in Alabama, there were plenty of days where it was below freezing, you know. We had a couple days that it was, you know, 15, 18 degrees with the wind chill. So I'm in full gray sweats, hat, scarf, gloves, and I'm out there, and there was a day we got a little bit of random snow, which I guess is pretty rare in Alabama, and I'm working out with rocks. So I was in that rocky zone mindset when I was out there. I'm kind of strange in the way that I like isolation. I enjoy isolation. So I don't know if you guys have ever watched 60 Days In. If you watch 60 Days In on Netflix, check it out, guys. Just check out the first season of 60 Days In, where they take the people from this season, and they were people that have already done time. So they know what it's like to do time. and they put them back in for 60 days undercover. But they put them in during COVID, which was when I was in prison. And they had to go through the solicitation. They all were not being able to take it. They were losing their minds. And I was like, it's funny, I had to do this for my first few months locked up. So to me, that was all I knew at that point. So it was completely different. You're welcome, Al. I'm happy to help you guys any way I can. Is there any benefit to a heavy weighted vest on the elliptical? Yes, there is. So listen to this, guys. If you start out with anything, it's going to be difficult in some sense. And the more you do it, the easier it'll be, the less challenging it will be. There's ways to step up your intensity. You can go faster, you can go on an incline, you can put resistance on. So having a heavy weighted vest on is just more resistance. Remember, if you've lost weight, if you were 200 pounds and you started on the elliptical and dropped 50 pounds, you got a lot less resistance to work with now. So throwing that vest on, it puts you back up to that starting weight, but you're already in better shape, so you can challenge yourself more. So yes, there is benefit to having the weighted vest on any of the cardio machines. Mancini loves his metal too, that's right, baby. I hope that answer helped you out, Todd, but yeah, you can definitely benefit from that. What else we got here? Whose idea was the Miami Vice Blackstone t-shirts? Everyone still compliments mine. I've had it for 6 years. And I still like, you know what? I don't even remember. There was a group of us, me, Josh, Trevor, that were doing all that stuff. Most of the ideas were either mine or they came from the group of us talking about stuff. I'll tell you which one was not mine. The superset shirts. I know that you guys love those. That was not my idea. I didn't like that shirt either, but I also wasn't all into the whole Supreme thing. It was very, very catchy. We had people copying those shirts and selling fake ones on Amazon. But I like the Miami Vice shirts too. I love the Miami Vice shirts. The black ones I liked a lot. Bismol Adam, bro, my weight is 86 kilograms, height 6'1", age 17. Boy, started from gym, 39 days, a guideline, please. Well, listen, I'll give you some general information that's gonna help you out no matter what. Number one, you wanna pick a routine that you can commit to no matter what. So the first thing that you gotta do is sit down and think to yourself, what can I commit to no matter what? What I suggest, personally, is 5 days. If you can only do 3, you can only do 3. If you can do 7, that's great, but 7, out the gate, 7, unnecessary. Pick 5 days that you know that you can go to the gym no matter what. Maybe it's Monday through Friday. Maybe you do a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday like me. But you get those 5 days because you can break the whole body into one body part a day, hit it really hard for an hour, give it a whole week to rest. After that workout, you can hop on a cardio machine for 20, 30 minutes. And then the rest just comes down into making sure you're making wise food choices. Eating clean, eating healthy. Just got back from Burger King for your daily water. How is it going there? What's going on at BK? You still have the sticker. The consistency is the key to success, guys, in the gym. Consistency trumps everything else because if you don't get into a routine, your body can't adapt. You're just throwing confusion at it. And I'm telling you, much like everything else in life, consistency yields results. Oh boy, you want that $15 for Christmas? We better get to have a post together, Pierce. You know, if I were going back in time and I was starting over as a teenager again, I'd have 5 days of lifting. My leg day, my chest day, my back day, my shoulder day, my arm day. Listen, when I was young, I was doing everything like 3 times a week. You don't need to do that. You can get away with it. But what happens is, guys, you break your body down and it's unnecessary. You can respond really well when you're young. So if I could go back in time and learn from my mistakes, I'd have 5 workout days. Leg day, chest day, back day, shoulder day, arm day. Start out, pick 4 exercises for each body part, and start out with 3 sets of 10 reps for each exercise. Then once you're into it for a couple months, start playing around with 4 sets and then eventually 5 sets. Keep it basic. Shoot for that 10. So if you get 10 and you can keep on going, keep on going. But know on your next set, okay, I'm gonna make it a little bit heavier. Now, if you can't get 10, if your goal is 10 and you only get 7, all right, well, you went a little too hard. Back it off a little bit. This is extremely layman's the way I'm putting it out here, but here's the way I think it should be when you first start. It shouldn't be, okay, we're gonna do 85% of my max for this. You don't know any of that stuff yet. So you wanna learn to feel these things in the gym and see how your body responds. Then you can really get into having a logbook and all these other things that I think are great. Did I ever see the video of Jay Masters benching 505 or double up so rest? I'm sure I did. I've seen him. There was a video where he benched and then it was hard for him to get off the bench after. If that was the one. Definitely a strong guy, big dude. PG, what is your opinion on the elevation training mask? I think it's great for as far as the maximizing your oxygen output and getting more out of your cardio. And I am not by any means a cardiovascular expert or somebody that's even good at cardio. I mean, we got people like Melanie in here that run 100 miles. I focus more on really fat burning cardio, which really is completely different as far as the way that I'm training. It doesn't require the same amount of oxygen output. But if you put an elevation training mask on when you're doing your cardio, you'll absolutely develop a healthier, stronger cardiovascular system. Mickey says, PJ, Big Lenny was always a fan of yours. He was so supportive on his live streams when he went to jail. Man, that means a lot to me, Mickey. I told you, I was really shocked that Lenny wrote me when I got home from prison because a lot of people had forgotten about me and it meant a lot to me. So, man, rest in peace to Big Lenny, for sure. I appreciate you telling me that. Sad to see him gone. PJ, have you won any bodybuilding contests, I bet? So I've been retired for a long time, guys. I'll give you a little rundown of my competition history. I did my first show. I did a big NPC show, Natural, which I didn't care that I was natural. I wanted just to see how good I could be as a young man. And I got 5th place in the novice, and there was 20-something guys, and the guys backstage were like, man, you're natty, aren't you? You can tell you got really good genetics. So I came back the following year and got on a little bit of gear, and I got 3rd place in the open that year. But I did those shows as a light heavyweight. So I felt like I was really close to winning the open. So there was another show in New Jersey right after that. And I went into that show, and man, I battled. That was one of the hardest battles I ever had. I competed against this guy, Gary Yander, who was like 7 inches shorter than me and built like a tank. And they compared us for a long time. They ended up giving me 2nd. So with that 2nd place, at that point I knew I need to put on a lot more size. So I took 2 years off. I knew I had qualified with that second place for a national level, so I took 2 years off. I did the Junior USAs as a heavyweight. That was where I made my heavyweight debut. So I did the Junior USAs in 2005. I got 4th place in the heavyweights. I really thought I should have won that show, but that show kind of put me on the map. Dave Palumbo noticed me at that show, and we started talking. I did a show the week after that because I wanted to re-qualify. Back then, you had to, get like 1st or 2nd in these big shows to re-qualify for the national level. So the week after that, I went up to New England and did Jay Cutler's show, and I won that show. So I got my qualification in, started working with Palumbo. I did the North Americans the next year. I think I got 7th at that one. Then I did North Americans the following year. I think I got 9th. It was a much, much different landscape back then. There was a lot of really, 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 really good bodybuilders back then. Not that there's not a lot of good bodybuilders now, but you have all these other divisions now. It was a lot more difficult back then. Then I did I had to re-qualify again, 2008, so I did the Atlantic City Pro-Am. I actually went in as a super heavyweight that time because I wanted to see how I would look with no diuretics, and I wound up winning the overall at that one, which was interesting. And then I did 2009, I did the Eastern USAs, won the heavyweights there, went to nationals. I think I got 9th at nationals. 2010, pretty much repeated that. And then 11, nationals again. I think I finished 10th or 11th. And then at that point, I was 30 years old. I took a year off to get as jacked as I possibly could and come back and do USAs. And I actually had a lot of injuries along the way. Shoulders, back, pec. And then I actually had a liver issue. And at that one, I decided I just wasn't going to be good enough. I wasn't good enough for what I needed to be in bodybuilding. I was too broken down at that point. I didn't really like the direction that they were going with the physiques. My physique was not going to have success. If anything, I almost felt like I was starting to get worse at that point. And I didn't want to have to go any crazier with the gear, especially after having that liver scare. So I did what a lot of guys, unfortunately, don't do, and I stepped away from it earlier enough where hopefully I protected my health. So I'm almost 44 years old, guys. So all of the fun stuff that I did in bodybuilding was in my 20s as a young man. I was good, fast. How good was Dave Palumbo's burrito? Oh man, I ate his quesadilla. That's a legendary story. I should probably tell that story on my YouTube page for all the people that don't know that story. I don't know why I did that. I don't know why I ate Dave's quesadilla. I just got caught up in the moment. The feds will get you, monks. The feds, just a quick, anybody who's new that doesn't know my story, what you read on the Department of Justice website and any of those websites is completely not true. So the kind of people that believe that stuff are the kind of people that believe that Donald Trump was a raper and doing all these other things that they threw those felonies at him for. So it really depends on the way that you look at a situation. But to make a long story short, I had a product called Super DMZ 2.0. It had 2 ingredients in it, dimethazine and methylstembolone. Those ingredients were not on the 2014 Designer Hormone Control Act when they banned a lot of supplements. So I kept on selling it because those ingredients were not on there. 2017, the FDA raided my facility. I didn't know why at the time. I now know they were looking for designer hormones. And so they took $1 million of inventory out of my facility, all of our computers. We got the computers back. They destroyed all of the products, protein, aminos, vitamins. They destroyed it all. $1 million at my cost worth. And they didn't find what they were looking for because we weren't even selling it anymore. Now, at this point, those ingredients still were not banned. So we finally got indicted in 2019, and their position was that we were selling steroids with those two ingredients. But our position was no, they're not steroids. They're pro-hormones that are completely legal, but we don't even sell them anymore. So we fought it. Long story short, I didn't win. I had to go to prison for a couple years. And now I'm free, and people all over Instagram and all over the internet are selling stuff that is definitely illegal all day, every day. It's just incredible the way that the FDA and the government decides to do some of the things they do. So my position now, guys, is I'm not even allowed to be a part of my own company, Blackstone Labs. The company that I put blood, sweat, and tears in for over 10 years. I'm not even allowed. The government will not let me even talk to any of those guys. I can't go in the building, can't earn a paycheck, can't help the company thrive. I have to finish my probation. When my probation is done, I plan on going right back to being CEO of Blackstone Labs again and doing that until the day that I die because it's what I love. What is your take on Vince Taylor? I think he is my all-time top 5. Yeah, man, Vince Taylor, so young Vince Taylor, unfortunately, was at a time where there were just some, really damn good guys that, because of that, kind of pushed him out of the way. But what's interesting is that he stayed good all the way through his 40s. Incredible upper body, even into his 50s. His legs, I think, held him back a little bit. Just the timing of the era that he was in. But, I mean, yeah, Vince Taylor, one of the greatest to ever do it. Genetically gifted, if you watch the way he trained. PG, what exercises would you recommend on doing for a slight tear in rear delt for recovery? My stepfather, no, he does not work for Blackstone anymore, Pierce. Some unfortunate stuff happened while I was gone. But as far as recovering the posterior delt, so listen, first of all, if the muscle is torn, you gotta let it rest. Now we have, of course, all of these new things that we can do for recovery. Now, back when I was young, if you had an injury, you made sure you took your growth hormone, rested it. Now you have BPC 157, you have TB 500. I mean, listen, I am guinea pigging my own protocol with the peptides right now. So, depending on how severe the tear is, leave it alone for a while, and then after 4 weeks or so, 5 weeks or 6 weeks, start focusing on mobility work, because what's going to happen is those posterior delt being shut off, the lat and assisting muscles, the traps, are going to start overcompensating it and leading to other issues which you don't want. I can't even get my damn posterior delts to fire anymore, which is frustrating. What else we got here? Monk says, my girlfriend cheated on me and hooked up with a dude. Hey, man, I don't really know anybody, maybe a small handful of people, that are just really lucky in the sense they never had a girl do them dirty. It happens to everybody at one point. I had my ex-wife cheated on me, broke my heart. Broke my heart. I was damn near drinking myself to death. And you know what? It's to wallow in the pity doesn't do anybody anything. It just hurts you, man. If somebody cheats on you, see you later. Move on. There's literally billions of fish in the sea. You can't let somebody hurt you like that. That's their flaw, not yours, buddy. Bodybuilding says, you said Hottie would be hell on wheels before anyone knew of him. I did, thank you. As soon as I saw him, I was like, this guy is going to, Flex was the guy at the time. I was like, man, if he gets here, no disrespect to Flex, dude, he's going to beat Flex. This dude is a tank. And, Flex had retired by the time Hottie got into the game, and then, dude, Hottie just blew right into the open. Mobility work, Pierce. Once it's rested properly, mobility work. Get that shoulder moving the way it's supposed to. Go on YouTube and look at mobility exercises. Stuff that you can do for your scapula, stuff that you can do for the joint itself. Because anytime you have an injury anywhere in there, whether it's a labrum injury or a rotator cuff or any of the heads to the delt, or where the lat inserts, other muscles lock up and they start overcompensating. And you'll start losing that range of motion. The last thing you want to do, I can't even move. My body doesn't move the way it's supposed to anymore because of so many issues with mobility that I neglected over the years. Let me see if I've missed some questions in here. Let's see. By the way, guys, if I ever start rambling and I miss a question, resubmit it. You won't annoy me. I'll make sure that I see it. Was Dale Chance your worst sponsored athlete for Blackstone Labs? The problem with Dale, he was great guy. I love Dale. Is that his profile was private, so we actually had a rule that you could not be part of the team if you had a private profile. So it was a direct violation right there. But outside of that, I have nothing but love for Dale. They knew that I was kind of bending the rules. Sometimes when you're the boss, you can bend the rules for certain people. Todd Johnson says, I'm an MMA fighter. Do you think using a heavy vest during pad work, and battle rope training is beneficial as well? So that is an interesting one. From a standpoint of cardiovascular work, I will say that yes, it would be beneficial. Here's the thing. I don't know, depending on the style of the vest, if it would throw off your mechanics as a striker. I don't know if it would hinder you in that sense. So I think battle ropes, absolutely. But when sparring and things like that, man, I don't know. I would actually rather see you ask somebody who's a skilled coach to fighters, because, you think about it. When you're holding weight like that, if it changes your mechanics and the way you're striking, you don't want it affecting you negatively in that sense. Z&Q Entertainment says, because the fads overstepped and wanted to make an example. That's what they do. Mancini, I didn't really think he said anything wrong. What do you think? As far as that podcast went? No cookie cutter for me, man. No. Did Jane the mother want subs for herself? So at one point, Jane was looking for something for fat loss. We gave her the old Trojan horse, which is now FLA2, and she seemed to do well with it. We also gave her Harmonize. I don't know if she committed to taking it. Literally all women will benefit from Harmonize. It's a brilliant design. That's one of my designs that I'm really, really proud of. Like the stuff that I love that I didn't design, like Glycolog, who, Gorilla Chemist designed that. I give the people the credit, but Harmonize was my idea. And I'm telling you guys, give it to your girlfriend, give it to your wife, give it to your sister, give it to your mom. It's an incredible product. Critical Creature says Super Demons was freaking incredible. Thank you. What else? Let's see here. How much traffic do you think Janoi actually brought to Black Swan in general? I would say overall he brought more negativity over the years. Now some people will say there's no such thing as bad publicity, but he caused a lot of problems. That being said, he did also bring a lot of very good people to the brand. I don't know how many consumers he brought. His code never really did many sales, so. Todd Johnson says, Black Swan Labs has always had the best supplements. I managed a franchise GNC, and then we would order back. Oh, that's really cool, man. That's awesome to know, Todd. Where was that GNC, if you don't mind me asking? Be careful, Pierce, man. Listen to your body. Mancini said, Vitamin Shop just went bankrupt. Not surprised, man. Listen, put your faith as far as supplements into the mom and pop shops, guys. They're doing it because they love it. Your local spots, your mom and pop, brick and mortar stores, those people are doing it because they love it. They're going to be honest to you when you go in there. What to do for adductor muscles? So, I get asked a lot of questions about abduction and adduction exercises, right? A lot of people get confused on what they are. So for anybody who's brand new, right, when you want to know, how do I determine what is what? So adductor, right, when you're bringing your legs in, the inside of, just think when you add something, right, you bring it in, you're adding it. So adduction machine, you're coming in, abduction, you're going out. A wider stance on a leg press, on a squat, works your adductors a lot more than when you're in a narrow stance and you're going to fire more through the quads. So think about that. If you're doing a sumo style of squat, like a dumbbell plie squat, that wide stance like that, with the toes and knees out, you'll be able to fire through the adductor more. And most gyms have good adductor machines that you can focus on. But if you use a very narrow stance to your squat, you're generally not going to have as much adductor involvement. So it really comes to foot positioning. Favorite ever BSL product ever made? Formula 19 I loved. My favorite BSL product ever made, though, is Glycolog, because of the health benefits. It's just really remarkable. Shout out to Gorilla Chemist for designing that. The original Angel Dust, just because it set us apart, because people were scared of doing anything with DMAA, and we weren't. We wanted it to be just like Jack 3D. And it's interesting because the Dust Extreme that I made was actually even stronger than that, but people don't realize it. King Cobra was a really cool one. Yeah, man, Hyperloaded, man. Hyperloaded is the original Hype I was so proud of. Just the pumps on it are awesome. A lot of people don't want that stim. And listen, if you're taking a hardcore stim, you gotta take the vasodilation stuff with it, or you're really, it's counterproductive what you're doing. But Glycolog, really, I'm really proud of Glycolog. I would say as far as the most badass stuff that we have, the Methaquad, which is Jared's formula, that's that all-in-one pill. I mean, as far as strength goes, that's the strongest stuff that you're going to get out there on the market now. How strong is Evan Centopani? Very strong. Very strong. So I was a pretty strong guy. I definitely wasn't the strongest guy. There were plenty of people stronger than me. Pound for pound, Guy Cisterino stronger than me. But man, Evan could move weight with really strict form too. Very strong shoulder presser, crazy strong shoulder presser. Anyone who can seated military press 315, free weights, just very, very easy and clean for reps is strong, man. That's freaking strong. Badabuco said, what happened with the supplement you did with Ken Roulette? So that product was called Entice Her. It was an amazing product. I was very, very proud of it. Couldn't get it to take off the way that I wanted to in that space. So, shut that business down after a couple of years. Took that formula, removed the CBD extract, and turned it into Harmonize. That's what Harmonize is. Just a truly amazing product for women. It'll make their mood better even when they have their period. Less bloated, better skin, better hair, better nails, and increase their attitude and sex drive. You really can't go wrong with it. It's regardless of the age. If you're menopause, it's amazing. It's just an awesome product. I never met Genoa steroid dealer Dave, no. I always found it hard to believe that that was real. Mancini says, MMPG always stop at DPS. Yes, man. Listen, take care of those brick and mortar shops, guys. Those are the real ones. Get that brick, waxing, flaxing, what up, what up? Monks, you don't eat because you're not food. Try to bring your food to school if you can, man. Why do you think neck training has gone out of the trend? I train neck daily. I used to train neck when I was young too. That's kind of funny, especially for football. Put a towel on your head with the weight, sides. You know, now they have that fancy iron neck thing you see guys doing. I gotta tell you though, sometimes I wish my neck wasn't as big as it is. I've got an abnormally big neck, and with the traps too, I feel like it makes my shoulders look smaller. What exercises or feet positioning have you found target the quad sweep the most? So what really, really blew out my quads. Now, part of the sweep that you see on legs, guys, has to do with genetic shape of the body. People have completely different genetics. There's a guy I know that's been competing lately, and his quad inserts like bizarrely high on his leg. And so because of that, his legs look really skinny, and there's literally nothing he's going to be able to do about that. He just got an unlucky, hand of cards dealt to him genetically. So a lot of it, first of all, has to do with the way your muscles insert and the shape of your muscles. Now, that being said, I have found that keeping a narrow stance, but with the hips slightly internally rotated, right? So you're starting from up here, keeping this rotated in. So you're not just worrying about your toes, you're actually rotating the hips in. On all of your exercises, fires that outside of the quad more. You can do that on the leg extension. I could do it on the hack squat. You can do it with a barbell squat. It's a little difficult. It's a little easier to do with a front squat. Leg press, I moved my foot positioning and all these exercises where I was locked in at my hips, internally rotated, and keeping my knees in so I could focus that. And you feel it also through there quite a lot. Waxen Flaxen says, school sucks, cafeteria. Listen, when I was young, we were pretty not poor, but we were struggling when I was young. So a lot of times my mom didn't have $2 for the lunch in the morning. So lunch was $1.75, right? I would go and I would get in line and I would just ask for people's quarter outside the line. Man, next thing you know, I'd have $4 or $5. I'd buy 2 lunches so I could get all that food in. And then when we did have money, all I ever asked was my mom to just please buy turkey. And I would just make turkey sandwiches, and I'd bring turkey sandwiches to school with me, and I would eat those during study period. And, once I started working and making money, I worked at a gas station and other places, I started buying protein and bringing my protein around with me. And that's how I got my protein in when I was young. Mancini says he doesn't have a favorite BSL product. They're all faith to me. Oh, thank you. Listen, I'm very, very proud. Very, very proud of our protein. We make delicious protein. We've worked on it more and more over the years, perfecting it. And, Jared has so many variations that he can do to the flavoring that I just think the protein that we make is absolutely... No one does a better vanilla than Blackstone Labs, that's for damn sure. And our chocolate is phenomenal also. Melanie says, sounds like it's Kratom. I think we're talking about the Harmonized too. So the Harmonized, there's a couple of things in that Harmonized, maca in a high dose being one of them, that are really just amazing for women's hormone output in general. But we also have a little bit of arimistane in there, which helps control estrogen, especially during the time of the month when estrogen levels change. And it also has some beta-phenylethylamine in it, which is one of the reasons why euphoria feels good. So it has that mood enhancement in it as well. So you're getting, on the women's side of things, you're getting hormone control, which is very difficult because women's hormones change all the time. Guys, we don't have to worry about that. So I really wanted to design a product that could manipulate that. It was kind of funny. It was actually, Kendra Lust was the one who said her husband was using some of our stuff and wanted to meet me. And she was like, how come nobody makes like a woman's Viagra? Like, why is there nothing like that? And I said, it's a lot trickier because of your hormones, but it gave me the idea to work on it. So when I designed it, I sent the original formula to her to try, and they tried it. And so when I got on the phone with her, she says, if you can make every woman feel like this, you'll make $1 billion. And I was like, really? I was like, tell me more. She's like, well, for starters, we took it. My husband went down on me, and I came in like 5 minutes, and she's like, that never happens. I'm a professional performer. That doesn't really like do it for me anymore. I like the penetration. So we were like shocked. She's like, and the rest of the experience was great. So we waited a few days, tried it again, and the same thing happened again. She's like, and that never happens to me. She's like, man, I love this. I'll represent it for you. And I said, listen, if you love it that much, why not be my partner? And we'll do this together. So, we came up with the name Entice Her. And we launched this product in the adult space with Kendra Lust as the front of it. So, at the time, she was the AVN, MILF Performer of the Year, had all these big things going on. I mean, she's got millions and millions of followers. So it started out pretty hot. We had a lot of other female porn stars posting for us, which was really cool. The thing is, guys, that space is very tricky. You can sell toys and things like that. Yeah, I got to meet Christy Canyon. Awesome. I got to do an interview on Christy Canyon's podcast, which was super cool at Exotica because I was a huge fan of hers. But the whole entire strength of the brand really had to be behind her. And guys are jerking off when they're watching porn. They're not buying supplements. So what I did was I moved it over to our space, removed the CBD aspect of it, and I changed it because it used to be a 4 full pills at once before sex. Now it's how it went into, do an AM, PM split. I mean, you can do it however you want. And, like I said, if you max dose it before sex, it's going to make you hypersensitive and feel really good and be in the mood. But you can split the dose like we tell people to do with the Harmonized, which a lot of girls don't. They just take it all at once. Like Marissa just takes it every morning. Listen, Marissa without Harmonized was a lot for me to get used to when she first got pregnant, because she is somebody whose hormones changed a lot when she was going through her period. So, the Harmonized for her was phenomenal. Because some women, they just get their period a lot worse than others. Some women get really bloated, bad cramps. The mood gets crazy. So same thing. My mom is absolutely insane. She's a liberal woman named Karen. I'm not even making that up. And I didn't even know that she was taking the the Harmonize. But she was like, I would like to do a testimonial for your Harmonize. I've been on it for 7 months. I feel amazing. And I was like, really? Why didn't you tell me that you were taking it? You never take anything. My mom literally can't take anything. She can't have more than like a half of a cup of coffee. She's super sensitive. She's like, the stuff that they're giving me for my menopause wasn't helping me. I'm having bad hot flashes, so I decided to try it. She's like, I feel amazing. I've been feeling great for months. I don't have any hot flashes. And I was like, man, that's really great news. So we did, my mom got involved in a testimonial for it. So listen, whether you're 18 or 80, as a woman, hormone manipulation is tricky. And so the Harmonized formula, like I said, it'll keep your skin clear. It'll keep your hair healthy. It'll keep your nails strong. It'll make it where the bloat that you get from your period is nowhere near as bad. It'll keep that water retention off. And it'll improve the mood. And that's a product that, listen, when I was shutting down Entice, we had people freaking out. We had wholesalers that were like, listen, let us buy it all because we got women that like are hooked on this stuff now. And Kristen Graham was actually another one that was like, oh no, I take it every day. Like I'm worried about not having it now. And I said, no, we're just going to rebrand it. So we just got rid of that one aspect of it and brought it out as Harmonize. And, like I said, there's no company has a woman-specific product like that. Alani Nutrition came out with this little, like, bootleg product for hair, skin, and nails. But there's no one that does, like, a hormone, based formula like that. Everybody focuses on the guy's side and testosterone and this and that, and they don't focus as much on the woman's side. But like I said, even if you don't know anything about maca, go do some reading on maca. Maca is amazing, which is the most abundant ingredient in there. So we did a whole hour today, guys. I appreciate you guys getting in here. ZNCU Entertainment, thank you for coming in here. I appreciate it. I'm happy to be back from prison. And I hope that I answered all of your questions. Monks, you're way too young for steroids, brother. I didn't start steroids till I was 22 years old, man. You're 14, your testosterone is going to be going through the roof. Capitalize on that stuff. Taking steroids young is terrible. It'll screw you up. Don't do it. Don't do it. They work better when you're older. The longer you can wait, the better, I promise you. I'm glad that I waited until I was 22. If I waited a little longer, shit, maybe they would have worked even better. But I was already 10 years deep into training and knew that I was going full speed in bodybuilding when I did my first cycle. So I maxed out on natural gains hard as a teenager, man. I grew like crazy as a teenager. So I hate to see you screw that up and shut your own natural testosterone off, for some synthetic shit that's not going to be beneficial for you. I promise you. I promise you, guys. I am getting in better shape, guys. I still got some fat to lose. You can see this one big hernia here, and then I have the sports hernia down here. Now that I'm lean, you can see it. It's pretty bad. I don't know. The problem is, if I'm going to have surgery on it, I'm probably going to have to figure it out pretty soon because the baby's going to be coming, and I don't want to deal with that when the baby's here. So I may just keep dealing with it, but it doesn't hurt, at least. The one down lower was the one that hurt more. So thank you, Pierce. I appreciate you guys. Is there a live tomorrow? I'll say we'll probably do a live tomorrow. Yeah, I got to get a little cardio in, guys. Got to get at least 30 minutes in. So I'll be on here tomorrow. If you guys are going out tonight, be careful on the roads. Enjoy yourselves. Thank you for coming in here today. And hey, it's Black Friday week, and it also happens to be Thanksgiving, so enjoy it. I love you guys all. God bless you guys. Peace out.